What if the boy who lived doesn't make it to the end? The wizarding world is at war. Hogwarts has fallen. Dumbledore is gone. And now hunted, isolated, and burdened with a mission he doesn't fully understand. Harry must face the truth. No classroom, no spells, no teachers, just survival. This is not a school year, this is the end game. And the final secret that could destroy Voldemort is hidden in death itself. Ugh. You're listening to Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, where loyalty is tested, legends are broken, and not everyone makes it out alive. Hello, everyone. Hi, all, and welcome. Welcome to BookPodCastZone. I'm John, your guide, always eager to, really uncover the hidden depths of the stories we love.
I'm Emma, ready to connect the dots and explore some of that deeper significance, especially when a story like this one kind of transcends mere fantasy.
Absolutely. Today we're embarking on, an epic deep dive into J.K. Rowling's monumental conclusion to the Harry Potter saga, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. This isn't just another book in the series. It's really the culmination of years of magic, mystery, and so much growth for these characters, all leading to this definitive, world-altering confrontation. We've meticulously gone through the audiobook companion and, our own notes, and our mission today is to distill the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight, moving chapter by chapter. We'll be exploring the key narrative turns, those powerful historical and societal echoes Rowling masterfully weaves in, and just the sheer storytelling prowess that makes this book so incredibly impactful.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating about this final installment, I think, is how it utterly strips away the comforts, the familiar structures of Hogwarts. It's gone. It forces our heroes into a world that honestly starkly mirrors many real-life historical periods of profound conflict, social upheaval, and resistance. We're not just going to recount what happens, you probably know that, but delve into why it matters and how Rowling uses every single plot beat, every character choice to drive home these timeless themes of sacrifice, resilience, and ultimately the true meaning of power.
It's a journey that leaves no stone unturned, really pushing its characters to their absolute limits. Let's unpack this incredible, often heartbreaking, but ultimately triumphant journey, starting right at the dark heart of it all. All right, chapter 1. The Dark Lord Ascending. This chapter, it doesn't ease you in, does it? Not at all. It just hits you with this immediate, almost suffocating shift in tone. Gone are the days of, school hijinks and cozy common rooms. From that chilling opening scene at Malfoy Manor, Rowling establishes this grim, oppressive atmosphere that tells you right away the stakes have never, ever been higher. You're plunged headfirst into a world where everything you once knew feels, adrift, completely upside down.
It's an unsettling but brilliant move to start there. We get this chilling, really unsettling glimpse into Voldemort's inner circle, the Death Eaters. And it's far more than just a meeting, right? It's a horrifying display of how absolute power corrupts and the dark psychological dynamics at play. You feel the palpable fear gripping even those closest to him, the forced, almost performative loyalty, and the casual, just mundane cruelty.
Yeah.
I mean, consider the shocking treatment of Charity Burbage, the Muggle studies professor, just suspended there. It's horrifying.
Oh, completely. It immediately demonstrates Voldemort's absolute control, not just over his enemies, but over his own followers.
Exactly, and his singular ruthless focus on hunting Harry. His physical presence inspiring sheer terror, even among his most fervent devotees like Bellatrix. It's almost unbearable to witness.
And that psychological element, the constant threat of betrayal from within, it really reminds me of how tyranny operates historically. This Malfoy Manor meeting, it really does mirror historical gatherings of authoritarian regimes, maybe particularly those from the 1930s totalitarian states.
Mm-hmm.
What immediately struck me was this idea of manufactured paranoia. Like, in regimes like Stalin's Soviet Union, loyalty wasn't just enforced by external threats, right? It was the constant arbitrary threat of punishment from within your own supposed inner circle.
Yeah, that internal pressure.
Exactly. It's like an internal cannibalism designed to keep everyone perpetually on edge, even the most loyal, maybe especially the most loyal. The silence of figures like the Malfoys, who seem desperate just to survive, is starkly juxtaposed with the fanaticism of others, like Bellatrix, who almost revels in the cruelty. It creates this environment where absolutely no one is truly safe, not even the powerful.
That's a really powerful observation. Rowling's narrative craft shines here. She uses these vivid, unsettling descriptions to create a sense of menace, a foreboding that just saturates every word. We're reintroduced to characters like the Malfoys, trapped in their own gilded cage, and Snape, whose role remains utterly inscrutable, a constant source of tension. Even new elements like Nagini's chilling presence just casually slithering on the table. It contributes to this atmosphere of pervasive, inescapable evil. The way Rowling establishes the wizarding world's new grim normal right from page 1 is just masterfully done.
So, as listeners,
What can we take away from this immediate immersion? This opening isn't just setting a scene, it's a stark declaration of war. It immediately immerses you in the stakes. It forces you to confront the grim reality of authoritarian control and, maybe, the moral compromises people make under extreme duress. It challenges you to consider, what would you do if your world just crumbled around you like that? How would you navigate a society where loyalty is enforced through terror? Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Okay, Chapter 2, In Memoriam. Moving into In Memoriam, the emotional weight, it just immediately intensifies, doesn't it? Harry's grappling with this profound personal loss of Dumbledore, which is already complicated enough, but then it's compounded by the very public scrutiny of his mentor's legacy. He's heartbroken, but also just bombarded by these insidious external attacks. It's like grief mixed with public relations warfare.
Exactly. And this is where the ever-opportunistic Rita Skeeter comes swooping in with her sensationalist biography, The Life and Lies of Albus Dumbledore. This book introduces a new, really insidious dimension of attack, not against Harry himself this time, but against Dumbledore's entire reputation. It forces Harry to question everything he thought he knew about the man he trusted implicitly, the man who was his guide.
Yeah, it's brutal.
He feels increasingly alone, navigating his personal grief amidst this deluge of public doubt and outright falsehoods. Yet, despite the pain, this chapter really ignites Harry's fierce resolve to seek the truth about Dumbledore and the true nature of his mission, not just accept what Skeeter or anyone else presents to him.
That media manipulation is so potent, isn't it? It really echoes historical propaganda. You think about the yellow journalism campaigns back in the late 19th, early 20th century.
Oh yeah, Hearst and Pulitzer.
Right. Fabricating stories to inflame public opinion, like during the Spanish-American War, pushing an agenda with exaggerated or just made-up stuff, or even, state-controlled narratives during wartime where facts are twisted to discredit leaders or influence public opinion. We see echoes of that, even today sometimes, with disinformation online.
Absolutely. It's a powerful illustration of how a narrative, even a completely false one, can shape perception and sow doubt among the public, and how vulnerable public figures are to these smear campaigns, even after they're gone.
Yeah, especially then.
Rowling's genius here, I think, lies in her ability to create this poignant blend, mixing that deep personal sorrow with the sheer frustration of these external public attacks. The chapter highlights Harry's growth, showing him wrestling with these complex emotions, trying to discern truth from the noise, rather than just reacting to immediate threats. He's really maturing, learning to trust his own judgment even when the world around him is trying to confuse him. You can feel every ounce of his struggle and his growing determination.
And this chapter resonates so deeply with our own experiences today, doesn't it? With information overload, the challenge of discerning truth in the digital age. How often do we see public figures or historical narratives twisted by biased accounts, or headlines designed specifically to provoke rather than inform? This moment really asks you, how do you deal with doubt when it's aimed at someone you trust? And how do you find truth amidst a sea of noise, especially when that noise feels deliberately engineered to mislead? Like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and now let's continue to the next chapter. All right, Chapter 3, The Dursleys Departing. This one gives us a, bittersweet, almost comical farewell in some ways. It's the reluctant, incredibly awkward departure of the Dursleys from Privet Drive, and it marks the very final severance of Harry's only home, however unloving or frankly abusive it might have been. You really see Harry's maturity here, his quiet strength as he ensures their safety, despite the decades of mistreatment he suffered at their hands. It's quite something.
This scene truly underscores Harry's unwavering moral compass, doesn't it? Despite everything, he commits to protecting even those who consistently mistreated him. It demonstrates a value system that is just starkly absent in the world Voldemort is constructing. It's a symbolic end of an era, like you said. The final breaking of Harry's ties to his past life, preparing him for this dangerous, rootless journey that lies ahead. It's a significant moment of personal freedom, in a way, even as it forces him into profound uncertainty and a life on the run.
Their departure absolutely parallels civilian evacuations during wartime. You think of the mass evacuations of children from London during the Blitz in World War II.
Yeah, Operation Pied Piper.
Exactly. Or even more localized evacuation we've seen right here in the U.S. due to, say, major hurricanes hitting the Gulf Coast, or wildfires out west where families are uprooted with very little notice.
That immediate displacement.
The underlying fear and displacement driving those decisions are universal. There's that profound sense of disruption, the forced abandonment of homes, the uncertain future faced by those uprooted. It's a quiet but powerful scene about forced migration and the deep underlying fear that drives such decisions in a world consumed by war or disaster.
And Rowling expertly blends that awkward, almost comical Dursley grumbling, a final classic Dursley moment, really with the underlying sadness and immense significance of the departure. And crucially, we get that unexpected, brief moment of genuine connection, almost gratitude, from Dudley.
Yeah, that was surprising.
It's a glimpse of humanity in the most unlikely place, showing that even the most difficult relationships can evolve, or at least reveal unexpected depth under existential threats. This scene, despite its brevity, is a testament to Harry's innate goodness and maybe Dudley's subtle, surprising growth.
This moment raises an important question for us, for you listening. What does home truly mean in times of crisis, when a physical house might no longer be a safe haven? And how do our most difficult relationships evolve, or maybe even soften, when faced with overwhelming external threats? This chapter reminds you that even the most strained bonds can reveal unexpected depth in humanity, especially when stakes are highest and survival is paramount. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 4. The Seven Potters. Okay, this one immediately launches us into high-octane action. It's one of the most thrilling sequences in the entire series, I think.
Definitely.
It's this daring, ingenious, but incredibly risky plan to use Polyjuice Potion to create multiple Harry Potters as decoys. It just showcases the desperate measures now required simply for survival.
And the profound loyalty and bravery of Harry's friends and allies truly shine here. They willingly put their lives on the line for him, knowing the immense danger. The immediate eruption of that thrilling, heart-pounding broomstick chase sequence proves the plan's necessity, but also its extreme peril. This isn't just a chase. It's the first major, large-scale, direct confrontation of the war, establishing the ferocity and ruthlessness of the Death Eaters and highlighting just how high the stakes are from the very outset of their flight.
And the magic itself, it adds another layer of technical challenge, doesn't it? The Polyjuice Potion plan was brilliant, but it also underscores a critical magical limitation Rowling built in. The potion only disguises appearance.
Right, not their core magical signature.
Exactly. So each of the Seven Potters still had their distinct magical aura, making them potentially vulnerable to any Death Eater who could sense magic beyond just sight. This added this terrifying, nuanced layer of magical risk to their already desperate escape, making the whole plan even more precarious than it already seemed. This kind of decoy strategy, of course, it strongly resembles real-world covert operations. You think about resistance movements, smuggling people during World War II, or even counterintelligence efforts in modern espionage, where decoys and subterfuge are absolutely crucial.
Absolutely. It highlights the precision required for such an operation, the inherent risks involved, and the absolute reliance on trust and coordination among a dedicated group. One mistake could be fatal for everyone. And Rowling's pacing here is just masterful. She crafts this heart-pounding sequence that keeps you on the edge of your seat, with quick shifts in perspective during the chase that intensify the feeling of chaos and urgency. The emotional weight is undeniable. You feel the underlying tension and fear for every single character involved, knowing the immense risk they are taking. It's a prime example of how Rowling elevates a simple chase scene into a foundational moment of the war.
Yeah, it really sets the tone. For you, as the listener, what's most fascinating here is how this chapter illustrates the absolute power of collective action and self-sacrifice. When facing insurmountable odds, how much would you trust your closest friends with your very life? This chapter poses that fundamental question, showing the extraordinary lengths people go to protect one another, forming this unbreakable chain of loyalty in the face of overwhelming odds. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 5, Fallen Warrior. This one, Fallen Warrior, immediately brings us to the devastating aftermath of the Seven Potters. It's just a gut-wrenching reveal of profound, irreplaceable losses, the deaths of Hedwig and Moody, and the severe injuries George suffers. The emotional toll of war is laid bare, emphasizing that conflict is never, ever without immense personal cost. It hits hard right away.
It really does. The raw grief, the shock, the anger experienced by the group are palpable and agonizing. This chapter directly mirrors the immediate, painful aftermath of battles in real wars, the counting of casualties, the mourning of comrades, the profound psychological impact on survivors, often leading to survivors' guilt. It's a stark reminder that not everyone makes it.
Yeah.
And then, adding another layer of despair and complication, we have the horrifying revelation of Mundungus Fletcher's cowardice and desertion.
Oh, Mundungus.
Right, it introduces this dangerous element of internal doubt and mistrust within their already fractured ranks. It's a double blow. External loss, internal betrayal.
This reflects the brutal human cost of conflict so directly. You think about the experiences of soldiers and civilians in conflicts from, say, Vietnam to more recent wars in Afghanistan or Iraq. The suddenness of loss, the feeling of profound vulnerability, the internal struggles with grief and survival guilt. These are universal and timeless realities of war. It's the harsh truth that war isn't just about grand strategies and battles. It's about the individual lives lost, the emotional wounds inflicted, and the quick erosion of trust when people fail to rise to the occasion, especially when trust is basically your only shield.
And Rowling doesn't shy away from the brutality and heartbreak of war here. She makes these losses deeply personal and painful for the reader. The chapter directly tests the strength of the group's bonds under extreme pressure, showing how quickly trust can erode when fear and self-preservation kick in. Yet, despite the profound sadness and this new mistrust, the core group's determination to continue the fight remains, somehow. It showcases their nascent, desperate resilience in the face of just overwhelming despair.
For you as the listener, this chapter forces you to confront the brutal realities of conflict. It's not just about grand battles. It's about the individual lives lost, the emotional wounds inflicted, the moral ambiguities of survival. It asks you, how do people find the strength to carry on when faced with overwhelming grief and betrayal? And what does it truly mean to be resilient when everything you hold dear is threatened or even destroyed? Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now let's continue to the next chapter. Okay, Chapter 6, The Ghoul in Pyjamas. After such intense loss and that high-octane escape, the Ghoul in Pyjamas brings us to a moment of, well, tense, precarious hideout at the Burrow. It showcases the Weasleys' enduring hospitality and incredible resourcefulness, even in the face of such grave danger closing in around them. It's also a critical point where the trio begins to truly conceptualize their daunting mission, realizing the immense challenge of finding Horcruxes without Dumbledore's direct guidance anymore. They're really on their own now.
This chapter masterfully contrasts the looming, pervasive threat outside with the comforting, if definitely strained, atmosphere of the Weasley home. That small pocket of familial warmth amidst the chaos is so profoundly important for their morale and their ability to even start planning.
Yeah, that warmth is everything.
And of course, there's the famously humorous yet kind of morbid detail of Ron disguised as a ghoul with spattergroit.
Right.
Which is a testament to the family's incredible resourcefulness and their ability to adapt to this bizarre new normal. It's a coping mechanism, really, isn't it? A way to maintain some semblance of humor and humanity in an increasingly dark world. It's a small act of defiance against despair.
It really is. In this safe house setting, it strongly parallels real-world underground resistance networks or families hiding fugitives during wartime. You think about occupied Europe during World War II, or even safe houses used for the Underground Railroad here in the U.S. prior to the Civil War.
Absolutely. Private homes became these critical hubs for planning and refuge.
And there's the constant vigilance, the fear of discovery, the profound bravery of those offering shelter, knowing they risk absolutely everything. It's this delicate balance between maintaining a facade of normalcy for the outside world and living in constant peril within those walls.
And Rowling's signature ability to infuse dark, high-pressure situations with moments of levity really shines here. It humanizes the characters, reminding us they're still, essentially, teenagers grappling with this impossible task. It shows their coping mechanisms, the small acts of normalcy they cling to. It also powerfully reinforces the unique dynamic and deep affection between Harry, Ron, and Hermione, which will serve as their anchor throughout the arduous, isolated journey ahead.
Yeah, that bond is key. This chapter highlights the enduring human need for safety and connection, even when everything around you is falling apart. It makes you ask, what does it truly mean to create a safe space when the entire world is effectively a war? And how do we find strength not just in direct fighting, but in protecting the vulnerable and maintaining a glimmer of hope in the face of despair? It's a quiet but powerful act of defiance, just keeping that warmth alive. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 7. The Will of Albus Dumbledore. This chapter begins with Harry's 17th birthday, which is typically a source of sadness for him given his history. But this time, it also brings this unsettling new mystery through Dumbledore's will. These aren't ordinary gifts. They're cryptic, loaded with meaning Harry can't possibly grasp yet.
Precisely. They are truly enigmatic bequests. the Golden Snitch, the Deluminator, and the book, The Tales of Beetle the Bard. These are seemingly innocuous, maybe even slightly odd, but profoundly significant items left to Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
Yeah, very specific.
They immediately spark a barrage of questions about their true purpose and their connection to Dumbledore's larger, still unrevealed plan. This deepens the enigma surrounding Dumbledore's true intentions and the precise nature of Harry's mission, leaving the trio feeling more lost than found, really, despite receiving these potentially helpful items.
Right, it's like clues without a key.
Exactly. While the gifts offer a glimmer of hope, they also bring immense confusion and the heavy burden of interpreting Dumbledore's final, incredibly cryptic messages. It's a masterclass in adding intrigue and forcing the characters to truly think for themselves, to figure it out.
That deliberate obscurity in Dumbledore's gifts, the need for decryption and interpretation, it absolutely echoes wartime-coded messages, doesn't it? Or seemingly ordinary objects used to pass critical information discreetly during times of conflict or espionage. You think about the Enigma machine during WWII, obviously. Or even simpler things, like seemingly innocent household items containing secret compartments used by spies during the Cold War.
Yeah, hiding messages in plain sight.
It highlights the idea that knowledge itself can be a weapon or a guide, hidden right there, and that deciphering intent can be as crucial as a direct instruction.
And Rowling expertly builds suspense and foreshadows future plot points through these seemingly random objects, making every detail feel significant. You know something important is coming from these. This chapter also effectively reflects Harry's frustration and his longing for clear answers from his deceased mentor. There's a layer of poignant desperation there.
He just wants to be told what to do.
He does, but Dumbledore, even in death, forces him to grow into his own agency, to truly lead himself and figure things out.
So, what can you, as the listener, glean from this chapter? It's a masterclass in how to build a mystery, leaving you with these tantalizing clues. It makes you ask, when you're facing a complex problem, how do you interpret ambiguous clues? And how do you decide who to trust with incomplete information? It highlights the challenge of legacies and living up to the expectations, or perhaps simply understanding the intentions of those who came before us. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 8. The Wedding. The Wedding is a chapter that initially offers this rare, incredibly poignant moment of celebration and normalcy. Bill and Fleur's wedding. It's a stark, beautiful contrast to the escalating war, a brief, fragile island of joy that feels almost out of place, surreal given the pervasive darkness.
But that illusion of safety is just brutally shattered, isn't it? Danger crashes the festivities, demonstrating that no place, no matter how sacred or celebratory, is truly immune from Voldemort's reach anymore. The sudden arrival of Kingsley Shacklebolt's Patronus warning, "The Ministry has fallen, Scrimgeour is dead, they are coming," forces the trio to flee immediately,
Instantly.
launching them fully and irrevocably into their isolated mission. This abrupt, violent interruption underscores the pervasive nature of the threat and the constant, desperate need for vigilance. The heightened stakes become instantly, viscerally clear.
This directly parallels historical instances where everyday civilian gatherings like weddings, religious services, public events were suddenly and violently disrupted by wartime events.
Yeah.
You think about the London Blitz during WWII, where air raid sirens would wail, forcing people to scatter from their homes or public places into shelters.
Yeah, life interrupted mid-stride.
Or even more recently, sadly, moments of public celebration turning into terror due to unexpected attacks. The psychological impact of never truly feeling safe, the constant threat hanging over ordinary life, the loss of innocence or normalcy, it's profound. It highlights the necessity of quick adaptation and escape in a world where peace is just a fleeting luxury.
And Rowling brilliantly uses the joyful wedding scene to heighten the emotional impact of the sudden, terrifying interruption. It creates this powerful emotional whiplash for the reader. This chapter also provides brief, valuable interactions showing the broader wizarding community united, even if only for a moment, before they are scattered by fear. It underscores how quickly joy can turn to terror when an authoritarian regime takes hold, and how vigilance becomes this constant, draining necessity.
What's truly fascinating here is the brutal interruption of joy and what it tells us about life during wartime or extreme crisis. It forces you to consider, how do you find moments of happiness and connection when the world around you is collapsing? And what happens when those cherished moments are violently snatched away? This chapter reminds us that resilience isn't just about fighting on the battlefield, but also about holding on to what's beautiful and human, even for a fleeting moment, and the strength it takes to keep going when those moments are lost. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 9. a place to hide. This chapter instantly throws Harry, Ron, and Hermione into the raw, unfiltered reality of being fugitives. They are now officially on the run, forced into immediate hiding in the urban landscape of London. It's a stark, disorienting, and immediate shift from everything they've known. No more Burrow, no Hogwarts, just London streets.
And they face instant danger upon arrival, highlighting their extreme vulnerability and the ubiquitous reach of Voldemort's forces, even in Muggle London. They're attacked almost immediately. This chapter truly marks the commencement of their isolated, unsupported quest for the Horcruxes, stripped of the comforts and familiar support networks of the wizarding world. They must rely solely on their wits, their limited resources, and most importantly, on each other. It's a profound test of their resourcefulness and resilience right from the very start of their journey, outside the familiar wizarding bubble.
Their desperate flight strongly mirrors the harrowing experiences of individuals or groups forced to go underground, hiding from oppressive regimes or evading capture during wartime. You think about Jewish families hiding from the Nazis in occupied Europe, finding attics or cellars.
And Frank's story comes to mind.
It's exactly. Or dissidents evading the secret police in various totalitarian states throughout history. There's the constant fear, the desperate need for secrecy, the immense resourcefulness required to find shelter, food, and remain undetected in unfamiliar environments. It's the profound psychological toll of living on the run, knowing you could be discovered and captured at any moment, the sense of being perpetually hunted.
And Rowling excels at building tension and a pervasive sense of danger throughout this chapter. She makes the urban environment feel both anonymously vast, yet incredibly threatening, as if eyes could be everywhere. There's a stark contrast between the ordered life at Hogwarts or the Burrow and the disorienting, isolating chaos of being hunted. It's a powerful portrayal of how even familiar spaces can become terrifying when stripped of security.
This dramatic shift in their reality raises an important question for you, the listener. What happens when your traditional safe spaces just disappear, and you're forced to improvise survival with nothing but your own ingenuity? This chapter challenges you to think about adaptability, resourcefulness, and the fundamental importance of trust when all you have is a few friends and an impossible mission. It's about facing the raw, unfiltered reality of life on the run. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 10. Kreacher's Tale. Kreacher's Tale is one of the most surprising and ultimately incredibly heartwarming chapters in the entire book, I think. Kreacher, the initially contemptible house elf, reviews this surprising backstory of profound loyalty and tragic obedience to the Black family, especially to Regulus. It's a complete reevaluation of a character we thought we knew, transforming this grumpy nuisance into someone deeply sympathetic.
Exactly. This chapter deeply transforms Kreacher from a mere plot device almost into a complex, sympathetic character, challenging the trio's and definitely our ingrained prejudices about house elves. His tale uncovers crucial details about Regulus Black, R.A.B., and the Horcrux locket. This provides vital context for Dumbledore's previous investigations and shows how integral seemingly minor characters can be in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it really connects dots.
It beautifully explores how preconceived notions and prejudices can be shattered by understanding history and developing empathy for someone's unseen struggles and motivations.
Kreacher's servitude and the surprising agency he eventually exhibits, especially after Harry shows him kindness. It profoundly parallels the experiences of historically marginalized or enslaved groups who, despite their oppressive conditions, often exhibit deep loyalty, profound resilience, or even unexpected acts of defiance. You think about figures like Harriet Tubman, a former slave who tirelessly led others to freedom on the Underground Railroad, risking everything.
A powerful example.
Or just the quiet acts of resistance seen in many enslaved communities, maintaining culture and dignity under impossible circumstances. It makes you think about the societal structures that create and enforce such servitude, and the surprising humanity and profound resilience that can emerge even within oppressive systems. It emphasizes the power of understanding someone's full history to profoundly change your perception of them, moving beyond superficial appearances or initial judgments.
And Rowling masterfully elicits empathy for a character previously presented as purely unlikable. It's a brilliant example of how character backstory isn't just filler. It can serve to unravel crucial plot mysteries and deepen our understanding of the entire world. The emotional depth she brings to Kreacher's tale, making his loyalty and the tragedy of his past so vivid, is remarkable storytelling.
What's truly fascinating here is the power of a hidden history to completely alter your perspective on someone. This chapter challenges you to look beyond initial impressions and consider the unseen suffering, the unspoken loyalties, the profound, often quiet sacrifices that shape individuals. It makes you ask, how often do we misjudge others based on superficial appearances or limited information? And what hidden stories might transform our understanding of the people around us if only we took the time to listen? Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 11, The Bribe. This chapter pulls back the curtain further to reveal a wizarding world rife with corruption and betrayal. Things are getting darker systemically now. The trio uncovers unsettling alliances and rampant compromise within the ministry itself, or what's left of it. It powerfully illustrates just how easily power can be bought and loyalty compromised under a tyrannical regime.
This chapter truly highlights the moral complexities of war and how it can twist people. It shows that the lines between good and evil are often profoundly blurred. Not all dark actions are clear-cut, maybe driven by desperation, and certainly not all figures we might expect to be light are incorruptible.
Yeah, that's a hard truth.
It further reinforces the ministry's increasingly compromised state, setting the stage for its complete totalitarian takeover. The trio faces the grim realization that the war isn't just about fighting Voldemort externally, it's also about navigating a world where once trusted institutions and individuals are failing or actively turning against their own. The rot is spreading.
This reflects historical instances of political corruption, wartime profiteering, or collaboration with enemy forces, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In times of profound crisis, you often see individuals prioritize self-interest over the collective good or moral principles. For example, during World War II, there were undeniable instances of collaboration with occupying forces in parts of Europe driven by fear, opportunism, or a twisted sense of self-preservation, which had devastating long-term consequences.
The Quisling governments and such.
Exactly. It's a clear look at the corrosive effect of fear and opportunity on societal integrity. It really makes you consider the difficult, desperate choices people face when their survival or personal gain is on the line, and how that can lead to moral compromises that have devastating consequences for others.
And Rowling builds this pervasive, almost suffocating sense of suspicion throughout this chapter, making the reader question everyone's motives along with the trio. This understanding that the enemy is not just external, a distant Dark Lord, but has infiltrated and corrupted from within, significantly raises the stakes and deepens the sense of peril for our heroes. Who can they trust?
Right. So what does this all mean for us, the listeners? This chapter is a stark reminder of how easily systems can be corrupted and how personal morality can be tested under extreme pressure.
Yeah.
It makes you ask, in times of widespread fear and the breakdown of order, how do you maintain your own integrity? And how do you discern true loyalty from self-serving opportunism, especially when the lines are so incredibly blurred? Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 12, Magic is Might. Oof. Magic is Might. What a chilling title for a truly chilling chapter. And it perfectly encapsulates the official fall of the Ministry of Magic under Voldemort's direct control. This unequivocally showcases the complete consolidation of his tyrannical power. It's no longer subtle infiltration, it's overt control.
Absolutely. This chapter paints a truly chilling picture of a fully realized dystopian world where fear is the ultimate ruler and any form of dissent is ruthlessly suppressed. The Ministry, once a bastion of order and law, however flawed, is now grotesquely transformed into a symbol of oppression. Complete with that disturbing, monumental statue embodying the new regime's cruel and discriminatory ideology. Magic is might, with muggles being crushed beneath it.
Just horrific imagery.
And the immediate implementation of discriminatory policies targeting Muggleborns reveals the true, horrifying ideological core of Voldemort's agenda, a systematic purging of those he deems unworthy. It's a frightening display of how quickly a society can be twisted from within when hate takes power.
This directly mirrors historical events where authoritarian regimes systematically seize control of government institutions, the judiciary, public spaces, everything really, to enforce their ideology and eliminate opposition. You think about the Nazi regime's swift consolidation of power in Germany in the 1930s, taking over courts, schools, media.
Yeah, the Gleichschaltung.
Exactly. Or even modern totalitarian states like North Korea today, where the state controls every aspect of life. The quickness of the takeover, the rewriting of history, the blatant use of symbols and propaganda to enforce dominance, and the immediate implementation of discriminatory policies against perceived undesirables. These are all terrifyingly familiar patterns of oppression.
And Rowling uses specific, disturbing imagery, like that magic is might statue, to convey the oppressive atmosphere and the grotesque nature of this new order. The chapter evokes a strong sense of helplessness and outrage, as a once familiar, albeit flawed, world is twisted beyond recognition. It demonstrates the far-reaching consequences of Voldemort's victory and the dark reality of unchecked power.
This chapter is such a powerful cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the systematic dismantling of democratic institutions, or any institutions meant to protect rights. It challenges you to recognize the early warning signs of authoritarianism and the profound importance of resisting the normalization of injustice. It asks, what happens when fear becomes the law, and how does a society lose its way when its symbols and institutions are corrupted so completely? Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 13, The Muggle-Born Registration Commission. This chapter is incredibly impactful because the trio doesn't just hear about the injustice from afar. They infiltrate the ministry and witness the cruel, dehumanizing persecution of Muggle-borns firsthand. It's a visceral, horrifying experience for them, and by extension for us as readers. You feel like you're right there with them.
It starkly exposes the systemic cruelty of prejudice and discrimination, enacted through this terrifying, cold, bureaucratic process. It's not just random violence, it's state-sanctioned oppression. The infiltration itself is a high-stakes, suspenseful operation, adding immediate physical danger to the profound emotional impact of what they witness. What's more, it ignites Harry's personal outrage and determination to act against this injustice, even while he's technically on a different primary mission, the Horcrux hunt.
Yeah, you can't just stand by.
His moral compass guides him to protect those being targeted, even at great risk to himself and their main objective. It's a powerful testament to his character.
This strongly echoes real-world historical purges, registries, and systematic discrimination against racial, ethnic, or religious minorities in oppressive regimes. You can draw clear parallels to Nazi Germany's Nuremberg laws, which stripped Jewish citizens of their rights and identity through legal means.
Classification and segregation.
Or various historical inquisitions that targeted specific groups for persecution based on belief. Even thinking about periods in U.S. history, like the internment of Japanese Americans during WWII, based solely on ancestry.
Right, the bureaucratization of prejudice.
Exactly. It's the stripping away of rights and identity through seemingly legitimate legal processes and the profound dehumanization that underpins such policies. It forces you to truly feel the experience of those forced to prove their right to exist or their very humanity to an uncaring state apparatus.
And Rowling doesn't just describe injustice here. She immerses the reader in its chilling, bureaucratic reality, making the stakes deeply personal and the scenes unforgettable. The trio's actions, like helping specific victims like Mary Cattermole and then making that daring escape, powerfully reinforce their core morality amidst the overwhelming darkness. It's a chapter that screams for active resistance, not passive observation.
So what does this all mean for you? This chapter is a powerful exploration of institutionalized prejudice and the immense courage it takes to defy it. It makes you ask, how do we resist when injustice becomes systematized and codified into law, when the system itself is the perpetrator? And what responsibility do we have to those who are targeted by oppressive systems, even if we are not directly affected ourselves? It highlights the critical difference between being a bystander and an active participant in justice. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 14, The Thief. Following that harrowing ministry infiltration, the Thief introduces a new layer of mystery and danger. A mysterious thief, Mundungus Flesher, again, indirectly in a dangerous artifact, the locket Horcrux they just retrieved, pushed the trio deeper into their perilous quest. It reminds them that even a successful mission can introduce new, unforeseen complications and loose ends.
And this is where the Horcrux itself, the locket, begins to exert a palpable, insidious, negative influence on the trio. It starts testing their emotional resilience and patience in ways they hadn't anticipated. It shows that their quest is clearly not linear. There are unexpected complications and new enemies arising from all sides, or even, as we see here, from within themselves due to the locket's dark magic.
Yeah, it's affecting them directly now.
Every discovery, even a seemingly small one like finding the locket, seems to escalate the danger and the psychological toll on the characters. It proves that the stakes are relentlessly rising, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too.
This pursuit of a hidden, powerful object, one capable of corrupting its bearer, it truly recalls historical quests for powerful or mystical relics during wartime, where controlling certain objects was believed to grant strategic advantage or power. You think about the lengths various factions went to acquire specific artworks or artifacts during World War II, believing they held symbolic or even mystical power, like the Nazi obsession with certain relics.
The Anerby and things like that.
Right. It highlights the allure of ultimate power, the belief in magical or legendary objects, and the lengths to which factions will go to acquire or prevent their acquisition, blurring the lines between myth and reality, and often their own sanity.
And Rowling masterfully weaves a sense of mystery around the locket and its origins, keeping the reader guessing about its secrets and its true destructive capabilities. This chapter also shows the initial cracks in the trio's unity under the insidious influence of the Horcrux, foreshadowing deeper tensions to come. It's a reminder that not all battles are fought with wands. Some are fought internally against the corruption of your own spirit.
What's truly fascinating here is the psychological warfare the Horcrux wages on the trio. It's almost like a fourth character, a malevolent one. It makes you ask, how do external pressures and dark, intangible influences test the integrity of your closest relationships? And how do you maintain focus on a difficult mission when a tangible evil is actively trying to undermine your very spirit, feeding on your fears and insecurities? Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 15, The Goblin's Revenge. Well, this one is tough. Chapter 15, The Goblin's Revenge, really highlights the rising tensions within the trio reaching a boiling point. The Horcrux's insidious influence, combined with the immense pressure, the lack of progress, the cold, the hunger, it causes significant painful friction between Harry, Ron, and Hermione. This is a moment where their friendship, the absolute bedrock of the entire series, is truly tested to its breaking point. It's hard to read.
It's excruciating to witness, isn't it? This chapter profoundly explores their friendship under immense, prolonged pressure. It leads to painful arguments rooted in their deepest insecurities magnified by the locket, and culminates in a momentary, heartbreaking fracturing of their unity, Ron's painful departure.
Yeah, that scene is just... ugh.
Harry and Hermione are left feeling utterly isolated and heartbroken by Ron's absence, highlighting just how reliant they are on each other on that three-part dynamic and how devastating a crack in their foundation can be. It brutally demonstrates how internal strife and psychological manipulation can be just as dangerous, if not more so, than external threats, especially when fueled by dark magic and despair.
This directly mirrors historical situations where alliances, particularly among soldiers or resistance fighters, fray under immense stress, lack of resources, and prolonged exposure to danger. You think about the psychological breaking points during long sieges, or the intense emotional strain on soldiers during extended tours in places like Vietnam or Iraq, leading to internal conflict and division within units.
Yeah, the pressure cooker effect.
Exactly. You see the impact of fatigue and fear on judgment, and the painful reality that even the strongest bonds can be tested to their absolute limits, sometimes with lasting consequences.
And Rowling portrays the arguments and their fallout with painful realism, making the emotional stakes incredibly high for the reader. It's not glossed over. It courageously shows the characters' vulnerabilities and imperfections, making them more relatable than ever. It's a stark, humanizing moment that reminds us that even heroes are susceptible to despair and doubt, and that the greatest battles are sometimes fought within one's own heart and among friends.
So, what does this all mean for you, the listener? This chapter is a stark reminder that even the strongest friendships have breaking points when subjected to overwhelming pressure and psychological manipulation. It challenges you to consider, what are the limits of loyalty? And how do you navigate profound conflict within your most crucial relationships during times of crisis, when clear communication and understanding are paramount, but often the first casualties? Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 16, Godric's Hollow. Godric's Hollow is such a deeply poignant, almost spiritual chapter after the raw emotion of Ron leaving. It's Harry's pilgrimage to his parents' village, a profoundly emotional journey into his personal history and the very origins of the war that has shaped his entire life. It feels like a necessary step for him.
It's a powerful blend of intense personal grief for his lost family and a broader, almost national sense of remembrance for the sacrifices made by so many in that place. But this visit, while offering a measure of emotional closure, immediately plunges him and Hermione into grave danger, showing that even sacred places, steeped in memory, are not safe from Voldemort's pervasive reach.
No sanctuary is truly safe.
Exactly. The exploration of the graveyard and the discovery of specific graves, particularly Ignotus Peverell and Dumbledore's family, Kendra and Ariana, begin to hint at deeper, interconnected mysteries that extend beyond just the Horcruxes, leading them towards the concept of the Deathly Hallows.
This directly parallels historical acts of visiting war memorials, historical sites of trauma, or ancestral homes to connect with the past, honor the fallen, and seek understanding. You think about visiting Arlington National Cemetery, feeling the weight of all of that sacrifice, or even a personal ancestral home after a major family event, trying to connect with roots. It highlights the profound power of physical places to hold memory and elicit emotion. The act of remembrance becomes both a deeply personal and a collective way to process loss and find meaning, even amidst current ongoing conflict. It's about seeking roots and resolve in the past.
And Rowling masterfully evokes a powerful sense of melancholy, nostalgia, and a touch of dread throughout this chapter. Godric's Hollow itself feels like a living, breathing entity, steeped in history and sorrow. It's a beautiful example of how setting can become a character in its own right, carrying the weight of memory and foreboding.
For you, the listener, this chapter profoundly underscores the connection between personal history and larger societal conflicts. It makes you ask, how do our individual pasts shape our present battles? And what comfort or danger can be found in confronting the very origins of our deepest pain? It's a powerful exploration of the burden and beauty of legacy, and how we carry forward the stories and sometimes the unresolved issues of those who came before us. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 17, Bathilda's Secret. Immediately following the emotional journey to Godric's Hollow, Bathilda's Secret delivers a gut-punch twist that ratchets up the tension dramatically, right when Harry is at his most vulnerable, emotionally raw. Harry and Hermione encounter Bathilda Bagshot, the historian, only to discover she is concealing a dark, horrifying secret Nagini herself, Voldemort's snake, disguised and waiting in ambush. It's pure horror.
This encounter immediately escalates the immediate threat, revealing the pervasive infiltration of Voldemort's forces into even the most seemingly innocuous or trusted places. An elderly historian's home. It marks one of Voldemort's closest direct encounters with Harry during their hunt, making the danger incredibly personal and intense. And the locket's corrupting power further complicates their escape, highlighting its constant, malicious presence and its ability to undermine their efforts even in moments of extreme peril, making a deadly situation even more treacherous. Harry's wand breaks.
Yeah, that's a huge loss.
Yeah.
This truly recalls historical accounts of wartime espionage, infiltration, and the profound difficulty of trusting anyone, as enemies could be disguised or operating in plain sight. You think about spies embedded in civilian populations during World War II, or the chilling stories of neighbor turning on neighbor under authoritarian regimes where paranoia is rampant.
The Stasi files in East Germany, for instance.
Exactly. It's the psychological toll of constant suspicion, the shock of betrayal from unexpected sources, and the chilling idea that seemingly harmless figures can harbor deadly secrets, making every encounter a potential trap.
And Rowling delivers a truly terrifying and unexpected twist here, blending horror elements with high-stakes action seamlessly. The shift from calm remembrance and hopeful historical discovery to sudden, visceral terror is expertly executed, maintaining relentless suspense and keeping the reader breathless. It's a moment designed to make you question every safe haven, every friendly face.
So, what can we take from this chilling chapter? It's a stark reminder that appearances can be incredibly deceiving, and danger can lurk in the most unexpected places. It challenges you to consider, how do you discern truth from deception when betrayal comes from where you least expect it, from a trusted elder, for instance? And what happens to your sense of security when a perceived safe haven is violently ripped away, forcing you to reconsider every assumption you've made? Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter.
Chapter 18.
The Life and Lies of Albus Dumbledore. This chapter dives deep into Harry's internal world again, and forces him to grapple with Dumbledore's complex past, mostly through reading Skeeter's book. Here, Harry confronts unsettling truths about his mentor's youth, revelations that cast a profound shadow of doubt over his integrity and judgment, especially after the Bathilda encounter.
The revelation of Dumbledore's youthful flaws, his fraught association with Grindelwald, their shared ambition for the greater good, and his past pursuit of the Hallows. It introduces this complex layer of moral ambiguity to a character previously held as almost unimpeachable, almost saintly. This causes immense personal turmoil for Harry. He grapples with disillusionment and a feeling of betrayal, especially after relying so heavily on Dumbledore's guidance for so long. He feels lost.
Yeah, his compass is broken.
The narrative powerfully challenges the simplistic notion of good and evil, forcing Harry and us, the readers, to see even our heroes as deeply flawed human individuals, capable of terrible mistakes and driven by complicated, sometimes dark motivations in their youth.
This mirrors real-world historical reevaluations of iconic figures so well. You think about how new information or changed perspectives can reveal complexities, flaws, or controversial aspects of the pasts of revered individuals. For example, some early American historical figures like Thomas Jefferson, once seen as almost entirely virtuous champions of liberty, are now viewed through a more critical lens, acknowledging their ownership of slaves and the inherent contradiction.
Grappling with the full picture.
Exactly. There's often a discomfort in confronting inconvenient truths about historical figures, and the impact of newly revealed information on a person's legacy can be immense. It highlights the challenge of holding complex historical figures in a nuanced light, rather than just seeing them as purely good or purely evil.
And Rowling delves deeply into Harry's psychological state here, focusing intently on his internal turmoil and the sheer weight of these revelations. It adds immense, crucial depth to Dumbledore's character, making him more human and less of an infallible guide, something necessary for Harry's ultimate growth and independence. It's a brave narrative choice to complicate a beloved mentor figure so late in the series, but so important.
What's truly fascinating here is how this chapter tackles the uncomfortable truth that even our heroes have flaws, often deeply buried ones, and maybe even dark periods. It makes you ask, how do you reconcile a person's past mistakes, even significant ones, with their later achievements and positive impact? And what does it mean to accept the full, complex truth about those you admire, rather than clinging to a simplified, idealized version? It's a profound lesson in nuanced judgment and historical understanding. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates, and now let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 19. The Silver Doe. After the emotional turmoil and crushing revelations of the previous chapters, the Silver Doe offers this much-needed, almost miraculous glimmer of hope. The sudden appearance of a mysterious Silver Doe Patronus acts as a guiding beacon in a moment of utter despair and isolation for Harry, alone in the frozen forest.
This leads Harry to a critical discovery. The Sword of Gryffindor, hidden beneath the ice, a vital tool for destroying Horcruxes. It signifies a massive, long-awaited breakthrough in their stalled mission. And perhaps even more significantly, this moment of discovery is perfectly intertwined with Ron's dramatic and pivotal return, mending the fractured trio, restoring their core strength.
Just in the nick of time.
Exactly. Ron's return and his subsequent act of saving Harry from the Locket's influence and destroying the Horcrux itself. It's a profound test of the bonds of friendship and the capacity for forgiveness, ultimately proving that their unity is indeed their greatest strength.
That moment where help appears seemingly out of nowhere, guided by this mysterious light. It recalls historical accounts of wartime signals, unexpected aid, or serendipitous discoveries that provide a crucial advantage or lead to safety in desperate times. You think about coded messages received just in time, or unexpected supplies dropped to resistance fighters cut off from support.
Yeah, those moments of sheer luck or providence.
Or even moments of incredible luck that turn the tide of a small skirmish. It explores the concept of a guiding force in times of darkness, the powerful role of chance or fate in difficult situations, and the immense, overwhelming relief of receiving unexpected help when all hope seems lost. It's that moment when something almost miraculous happens to turn the tide.
And the Silver Doe itself is such a powerful, elegant symbol of hope, guidance, and unseen protection, particularly given its connection to Snape, which we only learn later, adding another layer of complexity.
Right, the reveal is still coming.
The reunion of the trio and the destruction of the Locket provides a much-needed emotional release and a significant sense of progress for both the characters and the reader. It's a narrative turning point, breathing new life into a mission that felt on the verge of collapse.
So for you, the listener, what can we take from this pivotal chapter? It beautifully illustrates how even in the darkest, most isolated moments, a sign of hope can appear when you least expect it. It challenges you to consider the power of forgiveness, the resilience of true friendship, and how even small, seemingly impossible victories can reignite determination in the face of overwhelming odds, reminding you that sometimes faith is rewarded and second chances are real. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 20. Xenophilius Lovegood. This chapter takes us to a wonderfully eccentric new setting and introduces a delightfully unconventional character, though maybe delightfully is complicated here. A visit to Luna Lovegood's equally eccentric father, Xenophilius, provides the first direct, though admittedly bizarre and slightly alarming, clues about the existence and nature of the Deathly Hallows.
This is a truly crucial chapter for deepening the overarching mythos of the wizarding world. It shifts the focus, or at least adds a parallel track, from Horcruxes alone to this more ancient, even more powerful set of artifacts, the Hallows. The trio is initially skeptical of Xenophilius's claims, naturally, reflecting the reader's own uncertainty about this new, fantastical concept that feels almost like fringe folklore, a step beyond even the magic they know.
Yeah, it sounds like a fairy tale.
Exactly. It reinforces Luna's unique, often dismissed perspective and her family's deep connection to obscure magical theories, highlighting that important knowledge often comes from unexpected, unconventional sources from the fringes rather than the mainstream establishment.
This connects so well to historical and mythological quests for legendary objects or forgotten knowledge that promise immense power or enlightenment. You think about the historical searches for the Holy Grail, obviously, or even alchemists' pursuit of the Philosopher's Stone, a quest mentioned right back in the first Harry Potter book, bringing things full circle in a way.
It really does.
It highlights the timeless human fascination with ancient legends and the allure of ultimate transcendent power. It truly highlights the blurred lines between myth and reality and the vital role of fringe theories or unconventional thinkers in uncovering hidden truths that mainstream society might dismiss as mere folklore or conspiracy.
And Rowling's ability to introduce delightful, eccentric characters who, despite their quirks and sometimes outlandish beliefs and dangerous compromises, in Xenophilius's case, provide crucial, game-changing information is truly her genius. This seamlessly expands the magical world's history and mythology late in the series, adding new dimensions that feel both surprising and entirely logical within the established framework. It broadens the scope of the magical world, showing there are secrets far older and more profound than Voldemort himself.
What's truly fascinating here is how this chapter challenges your preconceived notions about what's important and where truth might lie. It makes you ask, are the most significant truths sometimes hidden in plain sight, dismissed as mere folklore or eccentricity by the majority? It encourages you to consider how valuable different perspectives can be, especially from those who see the world uniquely, those who dare to believe in things others dismiss, even if their motives get complicated by fear. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 21, The Tale of the Three Brothers. This is such a standout chapter, an incredible piece of storytelling nestled within the larger narrative. Hermione reads this captivating fairy tale from the tales of Beedle the Bard, and it reveals the mythical origin of the Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone, and the Cloak of Invisibility, the Deathly Hallows themselves.
This tale delves deeply into humanity's timeless relationship with death, ambition, and the profound consequences of seeking ultimate power or attempting to cheat mortality. What's truly fascinating is how this seemingly simple story, presented as a children's fairy tale, holds such profound implications for Harry's quest and the ultimate showdown with Voldemort.
It's the key, almost.
It really is. It explores the universal temptation to conquer death and the inherent dangers in doing so, showing that true mastery over death isn't about avoiding it, but understanding and accepting it. Each brother's fate is a perfect parable of human hubris and desire, and which path leads to wisdom.
This really parallels historical uses of folklore, fables, and allegories to convey complex moral lessons, philosophical ideas, or warnings about human nature across cultures and centuries. You think about Aesop's fables, or the parables in many religious texts, or even the cautionary tales told in early American communities like those in Puritan New England, warning against greed or vanity.
Stories with a moral core.
Exactly. It highlights the timeless nature of fundamental human desires for power, for lost love, for escape from death, and the enduring wisdom found in simple, seemingly innocent stories. It powerfully shows how cultural narratives shape our understanding of life and mortality, and the dangers of greed and unchecked ambition.
And Rowling's masterful technique of embedding a compelling, thematically rich fairy tale directly into the main narrative is just brilliant. It gives the reader a deeper context for the very artifacts driving the plot forward now. Each hallow symbolically embodies a different human desire and its potential pitfalls, making the story incredibly rich with meaning and foreshadowing. It's a testament to the power of stories to convey profound truths across generations.
So what can you, the listener, take away from this profound chapter? It is a deep philosophical meditation on mortality and power. It makes you ask, what is true mastery over death? Is it avoiding it, or accepting it as a natural part of life? And what temptations are truly worth the pursuit, especially when they promise absolute control or everlasting life? It's a powerful reminder of life's fundamental truths, disguised as a simple ancient tale, one that holds the key to understanding both Dumbledore and Voldemort. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 22. The Deathly Hallows. Following the tale itself, Chapter 22, The Deathly Hallows, brings the trio into this heated, revealing discussion about the true nature and allure of these artifacts. Are they truly powerful relics destined to be sought, a path to defeating Voldemort? Or are they a dangerous distraction from the vital Horcrux hunt, a temptation Voldemort himself couldn't resist, and maybe they shouldn't either?
This debate within the trio is critical because it reveals their differing priorities and underlying desires. You see Harry's growing fascination with the idea of mastery over death may be linked to his own survival instincts. Then there's Ron's more pragmatic approach, focusing on the known enemy, the Horcruxes. And Hermione's inherent skepticism of power for power's sake, always grounding them in logic and tangible goal.
She's the voice of reason, often.
Often, yes. The allure of the Hallows, particularly the Elder Wand, represents a significant temptation for Harry, mirroring Voldemort's own single-minded obsession with ultimate power. This chapter also begins to hint, more clearly now, at Dumbledore's deeper, incredibly complex plan involving both Horcruxes and Hallows, showing that his machinations were far grander and more nuanced than they initially seemed. It was almost a gamble on Harry's moral choices, his character.
That obsession with ultimate power, the allure of the ultimate weapon, really parallels historical obsessions with secret technologies or relics that promise decisive victory or unparalleled control. You think about the mythical Spear of Destiny legends, or the historical pursuit of advanced weaponry that promised to turn the tide, from ancient siege engines to, well, nuclear arms in the Cold War.
Yeah, the quest for the game changer.
It delves into the inherent human desire for power, the profound ethical dilemmas in pursuing it at any cost, and the potential for such pursuits to blind individuals to greater dangers or more fundamental truths, leading them down dangerous, destructive paths.
And the tension and ideological differences within the trio are brought powerfully to the forefront here, showcasing their individual growth and flaws as characters navigating these impossible choices under pressure. Rowling uses their debate to explore complex philosophical questions about power, fate, and free will, forcing the reader to think alongside the characters about what truly defines victory and mastery. It's a crucial intellectual argument woven into the high stakes of their mission.
What's truly fascinating here is the internal struggle with temptation and how different minds approach the same powerful idea. It forces you to consider, what constitutes true power? Is it invincibility or something else? And are there some desires that, even if attainable, are ultimately destructive to the self or others? This chapter challenges you to examine your own priorities when faced with the allure of seemingly effortless solutions or ultimate control. Which path do you choose? Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 23, Malfoy Manor. Ugh, Malfoy Manor. This is a truly harrowing, utterly unforgettable chapter. It's peak intensity. Harry, Ron, and Hermione, along with Luna and Dean Thomas and Griphook, are desperately captured by Snatchers and brought to Malfoy Manor, a place steeped in profound darkness and evil, the true stronghold of their enemy.
This chapter delivers incredibly intense drama and immense sacrifice. We witness harrowing scenes of torture, particularly Bellatrix tormenting Hermione for information about the Sword of Gryffindor. It showcases Bellatrix Lestrange's truly unhinged sadism and the sheer depravity of Voldemort's most loyal followers. It's terrifying.
Absolutely chilling.
Amidst this terror, there's the quick thinking of our heroes, Ron and Harry in the cellar, Hermione resisting, and the devastating yet profoundly triumphant sacrifice of Dobby, the house elf. His heroic intervention and ultimate death provide a powerful emotional climax to his long arc of loyalty and freedom. It's a truly gut-wrenching but incredibly meaningful moment. Dobby has no master. Dobby is a free elf.
Oh, it breaks your heart. This recalls historical accounts of wartime captives facing brutal interrogations, torture, and forced confessions in enemy strongholds. You think about the Gestapo's interrogations in Nazi Germany, or prisoners of war in various conflicts who endured unimaginable cruelty for information, or just out of pure sadism.
The psychological warfare aspect, too.
Exactly. It highlights the psychological and physical toll of captivity, the desperation of escape attempts, and the profound bravery of those who resist or make ultimate sacrifices for others, often at the cost of their own lives.
Yeah.
It's a stark, unflinching reminder of the horrors faced by those caught by tyrannical forces.
And Rowling crafts an incredibly intense and emotionally charged sequence, blending sheer terror with moments of desperate heroism and profound, unexpected sacrifice. Dobby's heroic death provides a powerful emotional climax to his long arc of loyalty and freedom, cementing his place in the hearts of readers as a true hero. It's a moment of devastating loss that solidifies the stakes of the war in a very personal, painful way.
So what can you, the listener,
takeaway from this incredibly intense chapter. It's a masterclass in high-stakes drama and profound sacrifice. It makes you ask, how far would you go to protect those you love when faced with unimaginable cruelty? And what does it mean to be truly free, even in the face of death? Dobby's final act challenges our understanding of heroism, showing it can come from the most unexpected places and in the most selfless ways, a testament to his spirit. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 24, The Wand Maker. After the emotional devastation and visceral terror of Malfoy Manor and Dobby's death, the Wand Maker brings Harry, Ron, and Hermione to Shell Cottage, where they speak with Ollivander, the Wand Maker, who was also rescued. And here they learn crucial, complex information about wands and their loyalty. This new understanding changes everything, shifting their perception of the very tools they wield, especially the Elder Wand.
This understanding of wand lore directly impacts the hunt for the Elder Wand and Voldemort's capabilities, adding a completely new, intricate dimension to their mission and shifting its focus from mere possession to true allegiance. It deeply explores the intricate, almost sentient relationship between a wizard and their wand, and how a wand's allegiance truly shifts based on conquest and defeat, not just simple ownership or inheritance.
It's about who won the wand.
Exactly. Crucially, it hints at Voldemort's ultimate fatal flaw. He seeks the Elder Wand through brute force and conquest, killing Snape later because he thinks Snape is the master.
Right, because Snape killed Dumbledore.
But he profoundly misunderstands the true nature of its allegiance and mastery, which will ultimately lead to his undoing. He misses the crucial detail about Draco disarming Dumbledore first.
This parallels historical concepts of master craftsmanship and the deep, almost spiritual connection between artisans and the powerful tools or weapons they create. You think about legendary swords in various cultures, like Excalibur in Arthurian lore. They can only be wielded by the rightful king.
Or the craftsmanship of traditional Japanese katana, which are said to embody the spirit of their maker and choose their wielder in some legends.
Right. These weren't just objects. They were extensions of the wielder, imbued with unique properties or even personalities. It delves into the idea that true power is not just about brute force, but about understanding intricate systems, respecting natural laws or magical laws, and the subtle nuances of expertise, which can be easily overlooked by those who only seek raw power.
And Rowling continues to deepen the magical world's rules and intricacies, even in the final book, making the magical system feel incredibly robust and lived in, adding new layers of complexity right to the end. The discussion of wand lore provides a fascinating, almost academic interlude amidst the relentless action, giving the reader a moment to absorb these new, vital rules of magic and their profound implications for the final battle.
What's truly fascinating here is how this chapter fundamentally redefines our understanding of power. It's not just about possession, it's about allegiance, respect, and true mastery. It makes you ask, what subtle forces truly govern the tools we use, whether they're magical wands or instruments of leadership or technology? And how often do we misunderstand the very nature of power itself, thinking it's about control, when it's truly about connection or understanding? It's a compelling look at the why behind magic. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 25, Shell Cottage. After the terrifying escape, the intense interrogation with Ollivander and Griphook, and the emotional devastation of Dobby's burial, Shell Cottage provides a desperately needed haven. It's a crucial moment of respite for healing, physical recovery, and quiet, necessary planning for the next, incredibly dangerous step, breaking into Gringotts. It's a breath for the characters, and honestly for us as readers, too.
This chapter beautifully portrays a delicate balance between the desperate need for rest and the pervasive, inescapable awareness of the relentless war still raging outside their little bubble of safety. It's a vital period for the characters to process their profound losses, particularly Dobby's heart-wrenching death, and to regroup mentally and emotionally, allowing wounds to begin to close.
They need that time to grieve.
They do. Despite the calm, the focus remains firmly on the next, even more dangerous steps of their mission. It's a temporary pause, a deep breath, before diving back into the fray, a strategic moment of regrouping and gathering strength.
This directly mirrors historical instances of safe houses, hidden retreats, or temporary sanctuaries used by resistance fighters or those on the run during intense conflicts. You think about the safe houses used by the French resistance during WWII, those brief moments of safety to eat, sleep, plan.
Or the clandestine meeting points for civil rights activists in the U.S., places where they could strategize away from immediate danger.
Exactly. It emphasizes the vital psychological importance of temporary safety, the powerful camaraderie formed in shared hardship, and the brief but crucial opportunity to plan and recover before re-entering the relentless struggle. It's where physical healing and mental fortitude are rebuilt, allowing weary souls to regain their resolve.
And Rowling intentionally slows the pace here, offering a much-needed breather after intense, non-stop action, making these quiet moments feel earned and incredibly precious. The focus is on the characters' emotional recovery, and the quiet moments of support they offer each other, Hermione caring for Harry, Ron stepping up. It reinforces their bond in subtle, powerful ways. It reminds us that even in the darkest conflicts, there are sanctuaries for the human spirit.
So, what does this all mean for you, the listener? This chapter reminds us of the crucial importance of rest and recovery, even in the midst of a crisis that seems never-ending. It asks, how do you find moments of peace and healing when the world outside remains chaotic and threatening? It highlights the profound value of sanctuary, whether physical or emotional, and the quiet strength found in supporting one another, enabling resilience in the long run. Sometimes the quiet moments are just as important as the battles. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 26. Gringotts. Okay, buckle up. Chapter 26, Gringotts, launches us into one of the most thrilling, nail-biting, high-stakes sequences in the entire series. The trio, aided by a reluctant Griphook and a polyjuiced Hermione disguised as Bellatrix, orchestrates this daring and perilous break-in into Gringotts' wizarding bank, arguably one of the most secure places in the wizarding world.
This heist demands extreme cunning, improvisation, and a willingness to push boundaries, truly showcasing the trio's immense growth in strategic thinking and their capability for complex, covert operations. They've come a long way from sneaking past Fluffy. The successful retrieval of Hufflepuff's cup from the Lestrange Vault, a key Horcrux, marks a monumental breakthrough in their mission, a tangible victory against Voldemort's defenses.
But it's never simple, is it?
Never. This success is immediately complicated by Griphook's inevitable betrayal, grabbing the sword and abandoning them. This leads to a harrowing, fire-breathing escape on the back of a blind dragon. It's a sharp reminder that even carefully planned operations can go spectacularly awry due to unforeseen allegiances and treachery.
This powerfully recalls historical accounts of daring wartime raids, intelligence operations, or break-ins into heavily fortified enemy locations to retrieve vital assets or information. You think about the raid on the Entebbe airport in Uganda to rescue hostages, or even the complex planning involved in elaborate bank heists depicted in films inspired by real-life events, like Ocean's 11 but with dragons.
Exactly. It highlights the meticulous planning, the inherent immense risks, the absolute necessity of deception and infiltration, and the unpredictable nature of such high-stakes operations. And of course, the role of unexpected allies, or as in this case, antagonists like Griphook, adding dangerous layers of complexity to the mission where trust is a fleeting transactional commodity.
Rowling crafts an incredibly exciting and suspenseful caper, full of twists and turns, the Geminio and Fragrante curses, the dragon that keep you on the edge of your seat. It demonstrates her mastery of action storytelling. It truly highlights the trio's increasing agency and their ability to execute complex plans under immense pressure, showcasing their evolution from students to highly capable operatives. This chapter is just a roller coaster of tension and ingenuity.
It really is.
For you, the listener, what's truly fascinating here is how this chapter serves as a masterclass in tactical execution and improvisation under extreme pressure. It makes you ask, how do you plan for the unexpected when everything is on the line? And how do you maintain composure and adapt your strategy when a critical element, like a supposed ally, suddenly betrays you? It's a thrilling example of how courage and ingenuity can overcome seemingly impenetrable obstacles, even when trust is broken and you have to ride a dragon out of a bank. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 27. The Final Hiding Place. Following a successful, albeit completely chaotic, Gringotts heist, The Final Hiding Place, confirms a critical win for the trio. They've uncovered Hufflepuff's cup, one of Voldemort's most guarded Horcruxes. This should be a moment of pure triumph, but it quickly shifts into a new phase of intense danger because of Harry's connection to Voldemort's mind.
Indeed. Their successful break-in immediately alerts Voldemort, through Harry's vision, to their strategy of hunting and destroying Horcruxes. This drastically escalates the stakes and makes them even more hunted than ever before. He knows what they're doing now. This success, paradoxically, triggers Voldemort's growing paranoia and desperate measures to protect his remaining magical anchors, specifically the one at Hogwarts.
He started checking on them.
Exactly. The hunt now transforms into a desperate, accelerated race against time, as they know Voldemort will now move to secure his other Horcruxes, especially the diadem, and they must beat him to it, or face his full, unbridled fury as he descends on the school.
This echoes historical wartime searches for strategic assets, critical intelligence, or crucial enemy resources, where the discovery of one piece of information immediately escalates the overall conflict, turning a quiet search into a frantic open battle. You think about the cat-and-mouse game during the Cold War, where discovering one side's missile locations immediately triggered a counter-response from the other.
Or intelligence agencies racing to uncover secret enemy facilities before they become operational.
Right. It's the strategic implications of enemy intelligence, the intense cat-and-mouse game between opposing forces, and the increased urgency when a critical weakness is exposed. Every significant move has a counter-move, and Voldemort is about to make his with terrifying speed, heading straight for Hogwarts.
And Rowling effectively ramps up the tension in this chapter, making the successful heist feel like a victory that simultaneously increases the danger exponentially. It also crucially shows Voldemort's vulnerability and his desperate reliance on the Horcruxes, making him less of an abstract evil and more of a desperate, paranoid tyrant driven by fear of death and self-preservation. This reveal of his fear makes him both more terrifying and, in a way, more pathetic.
So, what does this all mean for you, the listener? This chapter profoundly reveals that success can sometimes lead to greater peril, not less. Victory can paint a target on your back. It makes you ask, when you achieve a breakthrough, how do you anticipate and react to your adversary's response, especially when they might know you've succeeded? It's a powerful lesson in strategic thinking and understanding that every move has a countermove, and that victory can often just be the prelude to an even greater, more desperate challenge. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 28, The Missing Mirror. This chapter provides an unexpected lifeline in a moment of utter desperation as they realize Voldemort is heading to Hogwarts and they have no way in. Harry's broken two-way mirror, a forgotten gift from Sirius, provides this mysterious connection to Aberforth Dumbledore, offering a new, unexpected source of hope and guidance. He sees that eye watching him.
This reveals that Harry has allies and an unseen support network operating in the shadows, particularly in Hogsmeade, run by Dumbledore's estranged brother. It's a critical connection they will soon need to access Hogwarts for their final push. However, the underlying sense of betrayal, thinking back to Mundungus Fletcher, who stole the real mirror, and perhaps others who've proven unreliable, continues to complicate Harry's ability to fully trust these new connections. He's wary.
Understandably so.
Despite this apprehension, the mirror's connection unmistakably signals the approaching final confrontation and the absolute necessity for Harry to reach Hogwarts. It's the beginning of the end, a signal for their last stand, facilitated by this broken piece of glass.
This truly recalls historical uses of hidden communication devices, coded signals, or clandestine networks to transmit vital information and coordinate resistance efforts during wartime. You think about the clandestine radios used by resistance groups in occupied territories to communicate with London.
Or the secret messages passed through seemingly innocent channels by spies in major conflicts, maybe using dead drops or coded newspaper ads.
Right. It highlights the ingenuity required for secret communication, the reliance on trust within covert networks, and the vital role of seemingly minor connections in major conflicts, proving that even a broken object, a fragment, can hold immense life-saving significance.
And Rowling weaves a powerful sense of intrigue around the mirror and its connection, while subtly reinforcing themes of loyalty and the surprising nature of alliances forged under duress. Dumbledore's complicated family history comes back into play. It effectively sets the stage for the complex web of loyalties that will play out at Hogwarts, where not everyone is who they seem, and hidden support can emerge from the most unexpected, even reluctant corners.
What's truly fascinating here is how even a broken object can lead to a lifeline, a critical piece of a larger puzzle they didn't even know existed. This chapter challenges you to consider, how often do hidden connections and unexpected allies emerge in times of great need when the path ahead seems utterly blocked? And what does it mean to trust in something unseen, a connection that defies logical explanation, especially when your survival and the fate of many others depends on it? Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 29, The Lost Diadem. The Lost Diadem brings us to a moment of immense anticipation that's been building for chapters. The trio's quest for Ravenclaw's diadem, the final Horcrux they know about, finally leads them back, through Aberforth's secret passage, into the hallowed but now embattled grounds of Hogwarts. They're back,
This long-awaited, fraught return to Hogwarts immediately brings Harry into contact with former friends and allies, Neville, Luna, the DA, galvanizing the student resistance that has been simmering under Snape's oppressive rule. His arrival is like a spark. The physical return to Hogwarts loudly signals the impending final confrontation, building immense, breathless anticipation for the epic showdown. The castle itself transforms from a beloved place of learning and sanctuary into a fortress under siege, highlighting the war's pervasive, destructive reach and the desperate, unifying fight to reclaim what was lost.
This mirrors historical searches for lost cultural treasures or significant artifacts, often during times of war or upheaval, representing a crucial return to a symbolic foundational place. You think about the efforts to protect or reclaim historical sites and cultural heritage during conflicts, from ancient monuments in the Middle East threatened by war.
Or libraries in Europe during WWWII trying to save books from bombing or looting.
Exactly. It highlights the profound emotional significance of returning to a cherished place that has been corrupted or threatened, and the rallying power of defending symbolic institutions that represent freedom, knowledge, and an entire way of life against tyranny. Hogwarts is that symbol for them.
And Rowling skillfully blends feelings of deep nostalgia for Hogwarts, seeing familiar faces, the room of requirement, with the intense urgency of the Horcrux mission and the impending battle. The return truly galvanizes the reader, knowing the final stand is imminent and that all the threads of the story are converging here, drawing everyone back to where it all began. The atmosphere is thick with both hope and dread.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? This chapter powerfully highlights the profound power of place, especially one that holds deep personal and collective meaning. It makes you ask, how do you fight for and reclaim something that has been corrupted and desecrated? A place you love. And what does it truly feel like to return to a beloved home, knowing it has become a battlefield, a site of the ultimate confrontation where you might have to fight your own classmates or teachers? Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 30, The Sacking of Severus Snape. Okay, this chapter is electric. The sacking of Severus Snape is where the long-simmering tensions within Hogwarts finally, spectacularly explode. It culminates in this dramatic, public confrontation in the Great Hall between Harry, McGonagall, and Snape, leading to Snape's apparent downfall and flight from his position as headmaster.
This chapter is a pivotal moment that dramatically reveals the complex and often hidden loyalties of key characters. Snape's actions are still ambiguous. Is he fleeing? Is he retreating strategically?
We don't know yet.
Exactly. His true allegiance remains profoundly ambiguous to the characters themselves, even in this moment of apparent defeat. And Professor McGonagall steps up as this fierce, unwavering leader, powerfully rallying the Hogwarts defenders, animating the statues, dueling Snape. It's an incredible moment for her.
Oh, it's fantastic. Hogwarts is threatened. Man the boundaries. Protect us. Do your duty to our school.
Chills. This confrontation serves as the immediate, intense prelude to the full-scale Battle of Hogwarts, setting the stage for the epic conclusion that will define the fate of the wizarding world. The lines are drawn.
This recalls historical instances of internal power struggles, coups within institutions, or overt acts of defiance by resistance movements against an occupying force or a tyrannical leader.
Yeah.
You think about student-led protests and uprisings against oppressive regimes where defiance finally boils over in public spaces.
Or military figures turning against a dictator from within the ranks, risking everything for a chance at freedom.
Right. It highlights the strategic significance of seizing control of key institutions, or in this case, reclaiming them, the immense moral courage required to defy authority publicly, and the chaos that often precedes a major decisive conflict. It's that moment when the boiling point is finally reached and resistance transforms into open, undeniable rebellion.
And Rowling delivers an electrifying and highly emotional showdown that dramatically shifts the narrative toward its climax, leaving the reader breathless and on the edge. She masterfully maintains Snape's complex and polarizing nature, even as he flees, leaving the reader to question his true motives until much, much later. It keeps us guessing and builds incredible suspense around his character right up to the end.
What's truly fascinating here is the explosive revelation of hidden loyalties, like McGonagall's ferocity, and overt defiance, and the courage it takes to enact, both in the face of overwhelming power. It challenges you to consider, how do you discern true allegiance when appearances are so deceiving, and when someone's actions seem to contradict their very character, like Snape's? And what does it take for people to rise up collectively and reclaim their institutions, their home, from an oppressive force? It's a powerful moment of reclaiming agency and dignity. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 31, The Battle of Hogwarts. And the Chapter 31, The Battle of Hogwarts. This is a culmination of everything, the full-scale epic confrontation between the forces of good and evil, with Hogwarts itself as the central, beloved, and besieged battlefield.
Iconic characters from across the entire 7-book series participate, leading to multiple emotional and intense clashes that have been building for years, even decades. You see Percy reconcile, you see Trelawney throwing crystal balls.
Everyone is involved.
Everyone. However, this chapter is also marked by widespread casualties and profound acts of sacrifice from beloved characters. Fred Weasley's death is just gutting. Remus and Tonks. Colin Creevey. Lavender Brown, so many others. Rowling crafts a battle that is both grand in its scope and deeply, agonizingly personal in its emotional impact. It's a true culmination of the entire saga, paying off years of character development and conflict in the most brutal way sometimes.
This directly mirrors historical large-scale conflicts, sieges of fortified locations, or last-stand battles where the fate of an entire civilization or cause hangs in the balance. You think about the Siege of Leningrad in WWII, the sheer endurance and loss.
Or the Battle of Gettysburg during the American Civil War, a turning point defined by immense courage and devastating casualties on home soil.
Exactly. Moments where the sheer will of the defenders stood against overwhelming odds. It vividly portrays the chaos and devastation of total war, the immense courage of defenders, the pain of collective loss, and the desperate fight for survival and freedom against overwhelming odds. It is the literal drawing of a line in the sand where every life is on the line.
And Rowling expertly juggles multiple perspectives and simultaneous events, the fight in the castle, the trio hunting the diadem, Voldemort waiting, creating a sense of overwhelming chaos and urgency that keeps the reader perpetually on edge, trying to keep track of every moving piece. The rapid succession of beloved characters' deaths creates a profound emotional toll on the reader, emphasizing the true, brutal cost of war and reminding us that no one is truly safe, not even main characters' families. It's a relentless, heart-pounding sequence.
So, what does this all mean for you, the listener? This chapter is a raw, unflinching depiction of total war and the immense sacrifices it demands. It makes you ask, what are you willing to fight for? And what are the true, immeasurable costs of freedom? It's a powerful exploration of collective courage, the pain of widespread loss, and the brutal reality of the endgame, where everything is on the line and not everyone makes it out. It forces us to confront the harsh realities behind heroic narratives. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 32. The Elder Wand. In the midst of the batter's chaos, Chapter 32, The Elder Wand, begins to unravel one of the series' most crucial, long-standing mysteries, focusing on Voldemort's perspective for a bit. The complex truth about the Elder Wand's allegiance is finally revealed, explaining its immense power and, more importantly, why it ultimately failed Voldemort at the critical moment when he dueled Harry earlier, and why he now seeks Snape.
This chapter delves deep into the nuanced, almost philosophical concept of wand loyalty, showing that it's about conquest and defeat, about understanding true power, not just simple ownership or inheritance.
Yeah.
It's not about who killed the previous owner, but who defeated them, who won the wand's allegiance. It fundamentally exposes Voldemort's ultimate fatal flaw: his inability to truly comprehend the subtle nuances of magic, particularly the concepts of love, loyalty, and true mastery.
He only understands brute force.
Exactly. This fundamental misunderstanding of the Elder Wand's nature, thinking Snape is its master because Snape killed Dumbledore, directly leads to his horrific decision to kill Snape and ultimately to his own undoing. This chapter provides crucial answers to one of the series' overarching magical mysteries, tying together several plot threads that have been building for books, from Dumbledore's death to Draco's role to Snape's actions.
This powerful concept of true ownership, not by force, but by subtle allegiance, echoes historical struggles over powerful symbols, legendary weapons, or contested inheritances, where the rightful possessor is determined by complex rules or actions beyond mere brute force. You think about ancient stories where a hero's worthiness, not just their strength, determines their ability to wield a legendary sword, like King Arthur pulling Excalibur.
Or the intricacies of royal succession that depend on more than just bloodline legitimacy, recognition, subtle shifts in power.
Right. It highlights the idea that true power is not always about overt might, but about deeper principles, understanding, and sometimes fate or choice. It explores the profound consequences of seeking power without truly understanding its fundamental nature or respecting the systems that govern it.
And Rowling delivers a gripping reveal that fundamentally recontextualizes much of the prior narrative, particularly around Dumbledore's death, Draco's actions at the tower, and Snape's mysterious behavior. It brilliantly highlights Voldemort's intellectual blindness and his rigid adherence to a flawed, simplistic understanding of power, showing that his greatest weakness was his inability to grasp the deepest, most complex magic. He's powerful, but not wise.
For you, the listener, what's truly fascinating here is how this chapter teaches a fundamental lesson about the very nature of power. It makes you ask, what do you truly understand about the tools you seek to wield, whether they are magical or mundane tools of influence or leadership? And can a flawed understanding of power ultimately lead to your downfall, even when you believe you hold all the cards? It challenges you to look beyond superficial control and grasp the deeper truths that govern the universe, or a magical system. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 33, The Prince's Tale. Oh, Chapter 33, The Prince's Tale. This is it. Without a doubt, one of the most emotionally impactful and revelatory chapters in the entire series, maybe in modern literature. It's the heartbreaking, profound revelation through Snape's dying memories given to Harry of Severus Snape's true loyalties and his lifelong, unrequited, complicated love for Lily Potter.
This chapter completely recontextualizes Snape's character and actions throughout the entire series. Every sneer, every unfairness, every act of seeming cruelty is cast in a new tragic light. It reveals him as a double agent who was working for Dumbledore all along, driven by deep love for Lily and profound remorse for his part in her death.
Always.
Exactly. Snape's tale is one of immense, silent sacrifice and a desperate, flawed, but ultimately powerful attempt at redemption for his past mistakes as a Death Eater. It elicits incredibly strong feelings of sorrow, understanding, and even forgiveness for a character previously so reviled by Harry and by many readers. It turns him into one of the most complex figures in the story. It's a masterful revelation that pulls at your heartstrings and completely flips your perspective.
This deeply mirrors historical accounts of unsung heroes, secret agents, or individuals who perform extraordinary acts of bravery and sacrifice, often misunderstood or even vilified in their lifetime. You think about spies who operated behind enemy lines, their true allegiances hidden for decades, their sacrifices unknown until long after their deaths.
Or individuals who made incredible personal sacrifices for a cause, their motivations only understood much later, forcing a reevaluation of history.
Exactly. It delves into the immense complexity of human motivation, the transformative power of love, even unrequited love, or love mixed with bitterness, and the profound idea that true heroism can exist entirely in the shadows, unacknowledged or condemned by the public for the sake of a greater good or a personal atonement.
And Rowling's genius in orchestrating this long-awaited reveal, transforming one of the most hated characters into a tragic hero, is undeniable. The flashback sequence, particularly the memories of Snape and Dumbledore, "You have been raising him like a pig for slaughter," is designed to evoke deep empathy and, for many, tears, as the full weight of his sacrifice and Dumbledore's difficult choices becomes apparent. It's a narrative triumph that redefines an entire character arc in one chapter.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? This chapter is a powerful testament to the breathtaking complexity of human nature and the transformative power of love and remorse. It makes you ask, how do we reconcile a person's difficult exterior, their cruelty even, with their hidden, profound motivations? And what does it mean to love so deeply that you dedicate your life to protecting another's child, even at your own peril, without ever seeking recognition or affection? It's a profound lesson in empathy and the challenging but necessary act of reevaluating judgment based on incomplete information. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 34, The Forest Again. In Chapter 34, The Forest Again, Harry, armed with the devastating knowledge from Snape's memories that he himself is a Horcrux and must die, faces his ultimate, solitary, and profoundly courageous decision. He must walk willingly into the Forbidden Forest and confront Voldemort, fully accepting his own death as the only way to destroy that piece of Voldemort's soul and save everyone else.
This is Harry's most profoundly courageous act in the entire series, driven by selfless sacrifice and his newfound, clearer understanding of Dumbledore's and Snape's intricate, devastating plans. He finally understands. Harry's acceptance of death, a central recurring theme of the Deathly Hallows, comes to its poignant, heartbreaking climax here. He's not fighting it anymore, he's choosing it.
And it's an active choice.
We also get the incredibly emotional moment when Harry uses the Resurrection Stone, retrieved from the Snitch, to connect with the spirits of his loved ones, his parents, Sirius and Lupin, who walk with him. They give him the final surge of strength and solace he needs for his solemn, terrifying, final walk into the enemy camp. until the very end.
Oh, that part is just
Yeah.
so moving. This recalls historical accounts of soldiers or leaders making lone, self-sacrificial decisions to save their comrades or their cause, often walking into certain death. Like a general leading a desperate charge they know they won't survive to break an enemy line, or a leader accepting a dire personal fate for their people's survival.
The ultimate sacrifice for the greater good.
Exactly. It's the immense psychological, moral weight of such a decision, the quiet determination that allows one to face the inevitable, and the ultimate act of selflessness. It speaks to the internal strength required to face one's own end with courage, conviction, and a clear understanding of its purpose.
And Rowling builds a sense of quiet dread and profound solemnity throughout this chapter, focusing intensely on Harry's internal journey, his thoughts, his resolve, rather than external action. The interactions with the spirits of his parents, Sirius and Lupin, are incredibly moving, providing both comfort and heartbreaking final goodbye as a last moment of connection before the ultimate sacrifice. They don't tell him not to go, they give him strength to go.
What's truly fascinating here is the quiet power of ultimate self-sacrifice and the profound peace that can come with acceptance, even acceptance of death. It made you ask, when faced with an impossible choice, what deep courage do we find within ourselves to confront the inevitable for a greater purpose? This chapter challenges you to think about what truly gives life meaning, and how accepting one's mortality rather than fearing it can be the most profound act of bravery and strength, especially when done for others. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 35, King's Cross. After Harry's profound sacrifice, being struck by Voldemort's killing curse, Chapter 35, King's Cross, transports us to this surreal liminal space. It's not quite heaven, not quite earth. Harry finds himself in a bright, clean, limbo-like King's Cross station, a symbolic meeting place between life and death, an ethereal realm of choice and understanding.
This scene features a profound, illuminating encounter with Dumbledore's spirit, or perhaps a projection of Dumbledore created by Harry's mind. It's left ambiguous. But this encounter offers Harry crucial clarity, explanations for everything, and a renewed sense of hope regarding his mission and his ultimate fate.
All the questions finally get answered.
Pretty much. Dumbledore provides his final revelations, explaining his own complex past, his flawed relationship with Grindelwald, his connection to the Hallows, and crucially, the ultimate flaw in Voldemort's plan. The piece of Voldemort's soul in Harry is destroyed. But Harry, protected by Lily's sacrifice and his own choice to die, survives. Harry is then given the choice to board a train and go on, or to return to life and finish the fight. It signifies his profound mastery over death itself, not by immortality, but by choice and the triumph of his compassion and sacrifice. It's a moment of ultimate agency.
This experience profoundly echoes historical accounts or philosophical concepts of near-death experiences, liminal spaces, or spiritual encounters that provide profound insights or a renewed purpose for individuals. You think about accounts from soldiers who faced near-certain death in battle and had visions, or individuals who suffered severe medical events and describe moments of profound clarity or choice on the threshold of life and death, as seen in many autobiographies and spiritual traditions.
The tunnel of light imagery, meeting loved ones.
Right. It taps into the universal human desire for understanding and closure, the spiritual dimensions of life and death, and the powerful idea that clarity and purpose can emerge from moments of ultimate crisis and existential reflection.
And Rowling creates a highly symbolic, reflective, and almost spiritual atmosphere in this chapter. It's serene after the chaos. It provides much-needed answers and a profound sense of peace regarding Dumbledore's complex character, shedding light on his true motivations and sacrifices and completing his arc as a flawed but ultimately wise mentor. It's a pivotal scene that redefined everything Harry thought he knew about Dumbledore's plans.
So, what does this all mean for you, the listener? This chapter is a deep philosophical reflection on life, death, choice, and the true nature of power. It makes you ask, what hidden truths might await us at the threshold of life and death? And how might they transform our understanding of everything? And how do our final moments offer unexpected clarity and the ultimate opportunity for choice and redemption, redefining what it means to truly live and master death, not by avoiding it, but by facing it with love? Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now let's continue to the next chapter. Chapter 36, The Flaw in the Plan. And now, Chapter 36, The Flaw in the Plan. This is it, the final act. Harry returns from King's Cross, pretends to be dead, and then reveals himself for the ultimate climactic confrontation between him and Voldemort in the Great Hall at Hogwarts. This leads to Voldemort's final, definitive defeat. All threads converge here for the last time.
The core themes of the entire series culminate here. powerfully demonstrating that Harry's victory is rooted not in superior magical power, or even just possessing the Elder Wand, but in love, self-sacrifice, and his nuanced understanding of wand lore, knowing the Elder Wand's true allegiance lies with him, because he disarmed Draco, who disarmed Dumbledore. Voldemort's ultimate weakness, his fundamental inability to comprehend love, his dismissal of Harry's survival as mere luck, and his flawed, brute force understanding of power and connection directly leads to his demise. The Elder Wand refuses to kill its true master, and his own curse rebounds.
Poetic justice, really.
Completely. It is a profoundly satisfying and emotional conclusion to the overarching conflict, finally restoring a fragile peace to the wizarding world. The ultimate tyrant falls due to his own blind spots and hubris.
This directly mirrors historical triumphs over tyranny or oppression, often achieved not just through military might, but through collective will, unexpected strategic advantages, like understanding wand lore, and the enduring power of fundamental human values like courage, empathy, and unity, seen in Neville destroying the final Horcrux, Nagini.
Yes, Neville's moment is crucial too.
You think about the fall of seemingly invincible empires, or the triumph of resistance movements against seemingly overwhelming odds, often because the tyrant underestimated the spirit of the people. It highlights the idea that true power lies beyond brute force, the immense symbolic significance of a tyrant's downfall, and the hard-won restoration of a fractured society finally moving towards healing and rebuilding.
And Rowling delivers a powerful and truly cathartic climax here, providing a profound sense of justice and triumph that resonates deeply with the reader. All major thematic elements introduced throughout the series converge for this ultimate showdown, bringing every arc, every prophecy to a logical and emotional conclusion that feels both earned and inevitable after 7 long books.
What's truly fascinating here is the ultimate affirmation of Lovely's sacrifice. Harry's willingness to die is the most powerful magic, the one force Voldemort could never comprehend or harness. It challenges you to consider, what is the true nature of victory, beyond simply defeating an enemy? And can understanding a weakness, even a psychological or philosophical one, be more powerful than brute strength and limitless ambition? This chapter ultimately asks you what values truly endure and ultimately conquer in the face of absolute evil. It's not power, it's love and understanding. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now, let's continue to the epilogue. Finally, we reach the epilogue, 19 years later. This provides a poignant, maybe slightly controversial for some fans, glimpse into the future. It shows the lives of the trio and their families nearly 2 decades later, at King's Cross again, in a wizarding world restored to peace and normalcy. It's a moment of reflection and quiet joy after so much struggle.
It beautifully demonstrates the enduring legacy of Harry, Ron, and Hermione's journey and sacrifices, showing how their profound choices shaped a new, peaceful generation. It offers a crucial sense of resolution and optimism for the future, providing a satisfying and comforting end to the saga for many. The cycle continues as the next generation, Albus Severus, James Sirius, Lily Luna, Rose Granger Weasley, Hugo Granger Weasley heads off to Hogwarts. It signifies the continuation of life, magic, and hope, a poignant reminder that life moves on, but lessons and names endure.
Yeah, Albus Severus. Quite a name. This reflects historical periods of post-war rebuilding, societal healing, and the arduous but necessary return to normalcy after major conflicts. Think about the rebuilding efforts and renewed sense of hope in America after World War II, the focus on family and the future, the baby boom.
Or the healing and reforms that followed periods of great social upheaval anywhere in the world.
Exactly. It explores the long-term effects of war, the vital importance of memory and legacy, like those names, in shaping the future, and the hopeful resilience of societies in moving forward and establishing lasting peace, built on the foundations of past struggles and the sacrifices made.
And Rowling adopts a gentler, more nostalgic tone in this epilogue, bringing the series to a reassuring and heartfelt close. It's a moment of comforting resolution, providing a glimpse into the character's future, fulfilling reader curiosity about their ultimate fate, and ensuring a sense of completion, a soft landing after such a turbulent journey.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, as we close this epic saga? This epilogue provides a powerful sense of peace, maybe even a bit too neat for some, but it also prompts us to consider the echoes of our own pasts and the impact of our own choices. It asks, how do the battles we fight today, whether personal or societal, shape the world for future generations? And what kind of legacy of courage, compassion, and understanding do we hope to leave behind? It's a beautiful thought on the enduring power of hope, the continuity of life, and the quiet triumph of peace. Like, subscribe, and share for more updates. And now let's move to our final thoughts. Wow, what an incredible, harrowing, and ultimately triumphant journey we've just taken through J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. We've seen Harry, Ron, and Hermione stripped of absolutely everything, their comforts, their support systems, forced to mature beyond their years and confront the most profound challenges of loyalty, loss, and the very nature of true power. It was intense.
It really was. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this deep dive has really shown us how Rowling masterfully wove together these timeless themes of totalitarianism, media manipulation, moral ambiguity, especially with Dumbledore and Snape, and the enduring strength of love and friendship. It's a powerful testament to the idea that even in the darkest times, human courage, self-sacrifice, and an unwavering moral compass can ultimately prevail against overwhelming evil. The historical echoes throughout this book, they aren't just clever parallels, you know? They're vital reminders of timeless human struggles and profound triumphs that resonate across generations and cultures. It feels very relevant.
Absolutely. And for one final thought to maybe mull over, one that truly encapsulates the spirit of this incredible book. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows ultimately argues, I think, that the greatest power isn't found in a magic wand, not even the Elder Wand, or even in conquering death through endless life like Voldemort wanted, but it's found in the courage to face mortality, the willingness to sacrifice for love, and the profound, often quiet strength found in choosing to do what is right, even when it costs you absolutely everything. So, what does it truly mean to master death? Maybe it's not by avoiding it, but by embracing its inevitability and living a life of profound purpose and love.
That's beautifully put. We really hope this deep dive has given you a richer, maybe more nuanced understanding of this incredible story and left you with plenty to ponder. Thank you so much for joining us on this unforgettable adventure through the final chapter of Harry's story.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep reading.
And remember, true knowledge often comes from the deepest dives. See you soon.